All right, so you're all muted now. And um I'm Sarah. I have 8 kids plus a stepson that I raised, and I used to freak out so bad when my kids got sick. So I'm afraid of hospitals. I'm terrified of hospitals, partly because I used to work in one. and and I'm an extrovert. So I don't like being stuck at home for like I remember times when my older kids were little and it was like 6 weeks it would take us to get rid of a virus in our house, and we could actually like feel like we were okay um going out again and being around people. So I don't like that. I like to like, okay, let's get this virus done and we can go do the things. We can go back to church. We can go to homeschool groups, whatever. So anyway, I started Young Living in 2015 when my sister just told me like stop buying those other oils, get Young Living. She loved Young Living, and so I listened to her and I got it. And in that first week, excuse me, during that first week, I had like 3 huge aha moments where I was just like, oh, these actually work. And so what does work mean? It means that like I got the desired results. I said, what oil do I use for this? I figured it out, or I asked somebody. I asked my support people in Young Living, which when you join our team, you get that too. You get the whole support team, you get the Facebook groups, and text me or text your enroller, whoever invited you to this class. Um, and they will help you. They'll point you in the right direction and help you become empowered and informed to do what's right in your situation. So I had 3 moments in that first week where I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this worked. So my little girl Sadie, she was 2 years old. She broke her leg the day I bought my bundle. And so it took a few days to come in. And it was really rough. We were giving her Tylenol and Motrin because that's what the doctors told us to do. And that did help her pain, but it wasn't enough. Like it would wear off and before we could give her more. And that is horrible when your child is in pain and you really cannot do anything about it. She couldn't sleep. And I know when you don't sleep well, you're not healing well. And so that was really rough. And so we were giving her all of that. And then I got my kit, and it had Panaway, which if you have the starter bundle, I know a lot of you guys already have this, but Panaway is the blue one. I didn't know that it should really technically be diluted for a 2-year-old. And so I just started putting that on her because I knew it was for pain. So I put it on her spine. I put it on her little toes sticking out of her cast. And she would just settle down, relax, and she was able to go to sleep. It would calm her down. It would relieve her pain faster and more effective than the Tylenol and the Motrin. And the Tylenol and the Motrin, they were you can only give it so many times, but essential oils, you really can't like you can overdo it, but I knew like a drop every few hours was not going to overdo it. Like a drop every few hours is fine. It's even on a 2-year-old. And so that was like a huge, huge relief for my family. Because it was just so sad seeing her in pain. And then her tummy was a wreck from the Tylenol and the Motrin and all the stress of all the stuff that had happened to her that week. And so like she was having diarrhea and tummy aches and just not eating well because her stomach was such a wreck from those. And so I used the tummy oil Digest, and I just put that on her tummy, and her tummy issues, they cleared up pretty well. And so that too, I was just like, did that oil just stop diarrhea? Because I honestly thought these were like expensive placebos. Okay. So I was shocked. And then stress away is the one that I needed for me. And so I mean, I got my stress away roll on like right next to me here. I'm still using it almost every day. And so Stress Away just really helped me. I went through my first bottle in less than a month because I put the roller top on there, and I was just like putting it all over myself all the time because I was so stressed and so tense. And it was just a really stressful time, not only with the broken leg, with a whole host of other issues in my life at that time. And so, when I use Stress Away, it just kind of feels like it melts the stress away. It melts it off from me. And that was huge for me. And so um it helped my physical. We tend to think like stress is all a mental thing and emotional, but it leads to physical issues. It leads to neck. For me, it's my neck, my head, my stomach. Those are common ways that stress manifests in your body physically. But I didn't realize that a lot of my physical issues, like chronic headaches, chronic migraines, all of that, they're all linked back to stress and anxiety. So that one really changed me. It changed my life, honestly, because it helped me become a more calm, balanced person. So now I'm going to get into what I do when my kids get sick. I said I'm not a doctor, right? Did I say that? I'm not a nurse. I'm just a mom, and I've got a ton of stories because I've got a lot of kids. So I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just saying these are the things that help me when my kids get sick. So first one is fevers. We're going to talk about fevers. And you might think I'm crazier than you already do if you already know me. But I do not bring down a fever with over-the-counter meds anymore. I used to do that. But I have learned a lot about all illnesses and wellness and natural things. So I believe that fevers are God's way of managing our viruses and other infections. And so I let them do their job. And I know fevers can be scary. And Sadie, all the stories I'm going to tell tonight are about Sadie. But Sadie had a febrile seizure before she broke her leg. She had a seizure when we had the flu the year before I bought my starter bundle. And so, yes, that is very scary. It's terrifying to have your child have a seizure, but that's kind of God's like release valve. It's not something I learned after her seizure was that it's not always because of the temperature. It's because it goes quickly up or quickly down. So as a mom, I know I was giving her Tylenol and Motrin during that, it was the flu that we had, the influenza. And I know I was giving that to her. And so that may have actually caused it. I don't know. We never know with those kind of things, but I don't give those anymore. So I won't put my kids in a cool bath because I don't want it to drop the temperature too fast. I want the higher temperature to go in the body and do what it's meant to do, with the white blood cells. And your body has a way of attacking invaders and attacking viruses. And when you lower the temperature, you lower your body's defenses, and it often will take longer for that illness to run its course. So I don't do that anymore. What I do is I'll use a cool washcloth. This is just every mom knows this, right? But cool washcloth on the back of the neck or the forehead or even like the chest or tummy or back. I don't use cold because I don't want it to drop too fast. But I just use that in order to help keep them comfortable and to manage the temperature so it doesn't get too hot, or get too high. But there are other ways to help it too. A detox bath. So you can put even a little one in a bath with Epsom salts and baking soda. I'd start with like, if your baby is less than a year old and your bathtub is like a normal size bathtub, maybe start with 1/4 of a cup of each baking soda and Epsom salts. And if you have essential oils, take lavender and frankincense, scoop it out of the bag, either have it in a scoop or have it in your hand or whatever. Put a couple drops of essential oils. If your baby's like less than a year, I'd say 2 drops of frankincense, 2 drops of lavender. And then you can, if you know that it's like a respiratory virus, maybe add some eucalyptus or a drop of Raven to that and put it in the tub. You want the oils to bind with the salt molecules so they disperse in the water. If you put them right on top, that's okay too, but it's best to put them in the Epsom salts and then put it in the water. And my kids, like Evie is my youngest, she's 5, and Sadie is now almost 10, but they like to do that themselves. Like they like to scoop it out, and sometimes I let them put the oils in it, and then they like sprinkle it in the tub, and it's just kind of nice and fun and distracting for them. If it's respiratory, use something like I said, Raven, RC, eucalyptus, something along those lines. And I'd say like 1 drop for a baby under 1, but older children, or if you have a really large bathtub, you can increase that as much as you feel comfortable. Don't put thieves in a bathtub, or oregano or cinnamon or clove. Even some citrus oils are really hot. And so if they get in the water is going to drive the oils into the skin more, and then they can get hot and itchy, and they can even feel like pain. They can feel the heat. So if that ever happens, just put on some coconut oil or something like that and wipe it with a dry cloth. And so if your kids have a fever and you think it's more like stomach related, that's what's going around and that's what you're dealing with, then put a couple drops of Digize in the tub with the lavender and frankincense for that bath. And it can be really, really helpful. Plus it makes the kids feel better, helps them fall asleep better, because the magnesium and all the minerals in the salts, super good for all of that. So if you nurse your baby, this is a super cool, I'm a new grandma, and so my daughter told me this, that your baby's saliva communicates through your breast what antibodies to produce to keep your baby well. So if you're nursing a baby, keep your baby nursing as much as you can. Just like keep them on there, even if they're not nursing and they're just sleeping. Just let them be there, because their body, God made it so they communicate to you and you communicate back. And it's like a very symbiotic relationship, right? Like you guys are keeping each other well. And that's just fascinating to me. And another trick that I learned, and this is just something that I came up with myself from experience, but I like do this practice where I just keep my hands on my sick kids, lay hands on them, pray, put some oils on there too if you want to. But even when I'm not putting oils on them, I keep my hands on them and I can feel their heat radiating into my body from theirs. So I feel like I'm pulling the heat from them. Skin to skin is great if your kids are young enough to do that. And if not, or you have a couple little kids, keep your hands on them when they're sleeping or just when they're sitting with you. The neck is a good place to do that. The chest, the back, their face and head. Keep your hands on them and you can help regulate their temperature that way. Let's see. So, and then when you do the oils too, which we'll talk about specific oils in a minute, but when you're doing the oils, you get like prayer oils and the touch aspect of it, and you're getting like a 3-in-1. Is really effective, I think. So, and there's no science behind this. This is just what I do and what I know is works for my family. So which oils? So for fevers for little ones, and big ones too, you can make a like a dropper bottle, or you can also make a roller bottle, but I really like the droppers for sickness, because you're not gonna like contaminate it. I don't really know that you can contaminate it, because essential oils, they kill viruses and stuff anyway. But I want to keep my rollers fresh for like clean skin and all of that. But so I like to make dropper bottles. And so you can do lemon and peppermint. And I wouldn't use peppermint for a baby like under 1. Maybe even 2, but you can be the judge of that and how sensitive your child is and how you feel about it. But for a baby under 1, I would do lemon, lavender, and peppermint in a dropper bottle, and you can just drop this right into with a carrier. So like 4 drops of carrier to 1 drop of oil, or fill up your bottle a quarter of the way with essential oils and the rest with the carrier, like fractionated coconut or avocado oil is a good one. Just check the expiration date so it doesn't make your all go rancid, okay? Because that's happened to me before. But you can take that and drop it in their belly button. Of course, not a newborn or like a really young infant, but use your judgment on this. But you can drop it in the belly button. Is a really good place to apply essential oils. And you can do it every 15 minutes for like as long as you need to, or as long as it's keeping your child happy and comfortable. You can put it on the spine, and the feet are really great places for all of that for fevers. And then you can do that like probably the same ratio, probably 1-4 for elementary kids. And then as moms, we can kind of feel that out and know what our kids are responding to. You can use more oils if you want to, but usually they're really potent and they go really far. And then, okay, here's a little weird one that I learned over the last couple of years: music. So if you look on YouTube and just go and search like healing music, you'll find this really high frequency music that is like, it sounds like a yoga studio or acupuncture. The acupuncturist that I go to, he plays this kind of music, like Chinese medicine stuff. But that is really effective in healing the body. You can find different ones, like if you want to fall in love with your partner, play this music. Or if you you need more love, or you need mental clarity, play this music. For sickness and healing of the body, this one works. And it is really it's amazing. So I did this a lot in my old house. We just went through a sickness here like last week, which is what prompted me to do this class. But because I compiled all of the things I was doing, except they didn't have fevers. So the last fevers we had, I did all of these things. I did the bath, I did the oils, I laid them on blankets in my bedroom so I can like keep an eye on them. And I played that music. And I'm telling you what, like more than half the time they wake up and they are well. Their fever didn't turn into anything. It didn't because we know like something's coming if they have a fever. Most of the time that's just, we know it, right? But when I've done these things, my kids have woken up like fine the next day. And it's just a combination of all of this good stuff. But the music, I swear, the music really does help. And And some of my kids are like, Mom, that's weird. Or once my husband was sick and I put the music on, he was like, I think that's making me more sick. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. But he just doesn't like my hippie music. But it works. Okay. And then you want to support them as far as dehydration and things like that go. So my favorite is the Vitality Drops from Young Living. And they Young Living is super cool. So they're so pure with things. They get their electrolytes out of the Salt Lake in Salt Lake City. They purify the water. They add some essential oils. They add maybe some more, I don't know, cell salts, whatever they put in there. And that's what that is what they use in the Vitality Drops. And electrolytes are really, really helpful. It's what's in Pedialyte and Gatorade and things like that. But Young Living doesn't have the added junk in there. There's no sugar. There's I think it's sweetened with stevia. It's got you're never gonna get like colors, like anything with a color. Okay, Pedialyte knows that some moms know that red dye is bad, so they made a clear one for us. But why are they still making the colorful ones? I mean, like, it's not good for children. So yeah, the Vitality Drops, they go really far. So if when we use it, if I'm using it for my kids, like for me, I always carry around a water bottle. But for my kids, what I'll do is like I'll put one squirt of that stuff. It goes super far in a water bottle, and then I'll use that to fill up their cups, because a squirt of that in a cup is way too much. And so like it doesn't even taste good. So it tastes good when you dilute it more the right way. So that is really good. And then let's see here. I think we're just going to move into respiratory support now, since a lot of the fevers, they turn into a respiratory virus, or they come at the beginning of a respiratory virus. They kind of go together. But has anybody dealt with croup? Because we've had croup, a couple of my kids at different times, of course, but Sadie, again, when she was 2, it was a couple months after her broken leg. We moved here to Albuquerque and she got croup. I didn't know anybody. I had just gotten my oils. But I looked in our Facebook group, the In Bloom Lounge. If you guys aren't in there, is so, so valuable, because what I did, it's like 2 a.m. and I'm thinking like, I don't know this city. I don't know anybody. I don't have a doctor. I don't even know like if my insurance is going to pay for it yet, because we haven't, said that we live here yet, and all that kind of stuff. So I looked in the lounge in that group, and some moms had been discussing croup. There's so many posts on it that it was easy for me to say like, okay, this worked for that person, but I don't have that oil yet. So I do have this one that these other people were talking about. So I use lavender and copaiba, and I put those on her chest and her back and her feet. And I went and I took the diffuser into the bathroom and turned on the shower to make it all steamy in there. And that helped her. And she just fell asleep. And I was just like, can we just sleep in the bathtub? I didn't want to leave because it helped so much. And so that was huge for me, because croup is really, really scary. And then for a tight, dry cough, which is kind of like croup, but we're talking like more adults here. You can do the same oils, lavender and copaiba, but we have this little energy drink called Ningxia Nitro, and those are really good, and it almost acts as a steroid. It's full of herbs. It's got a little bit of caffeine that comes from like a white tree or something, or white tea berry or bean or leaf. I was like, wait, not a coffee bean. It's a tea leaf. Okay. From the white tea leaves. Okay. So, it's a really good sourced caffeine and it's healthy for you. And so I've heard that Ningxia Nitro, I've never used this before because, I just heard about this like a couple weeks ago. Ningxia Nitro, use that if you have, a tight, dry cough. And even with that virus that shall not be named, I think this is what they were talking about, is nitro. And also for that, you can put Valor, the purple one, put that over your spleen. Okay, so this was like an anecdotal thing that, some, professional like naturopaths or, natural doctors were using in Young Living with their patients, and they had really good success because they had a scanner. It would scan the patient. The scanner would say, put Valor on their spleen, and they were like, what? And these were all their patients with that same virus who were coming in 2020 and 2021. And they had very good success, like no hospital visits with all of their patients. Valor on the spleen, and then also, lemon and geranium. So, I'm pretty sure Valor contains geranium. So if you don't have geranium, it's kind of, it's not one that everybody has. Most of us have Valor and lemon. So those are great for that virus. I'm not going to say it. Okay. And then like a wet cough, if your kids have like the snotty nose and chest congestion and coughing and all that, lemon oil breaks up mucus. So you can, like I talked about before, like put it in a big bottle of water, not plastic, please, stainless or glass. Put, a couple drops of lemon oil in there, maybe throw some of the Vitality drops in there too. And, that will help break up the mucus. And then, eucalyptus helps open the airway. So most of us have Raven or RC. RC and Raven are similar, but they kind of work in different ways. So you kind of just play around and see which one works best for you. I feel like, RC is not my favorite for a dry cough. Just my personal experience, but RC is, it is significantly cheaper, I think, than Raven, but I like them both. I like them both for different things. RC, or since eucalyptus opens the airways, RC is often used for like snoring. And so, and that's why, that's why it works for snoring, because it's opening up the airways. So wet coughs, lemon, eucalyptus, use them together, diffuse them. You can apply them and give lemon, internally if you feel comfortable with that. If you don't do it. You can make a tea with, lemon oil and honey and thieves. Thieves is amazing for that too. And, stir it up with some water or even black tea if you like. And, that will, really help break it up. And yes, sometimes it will cause them to cough more, but they're getting all of that out. It's an expectorant. So you can, like, that is a good thing. When it's a wet cough, you want them to cough and get all the stuff out. Another really good tip that I actually learned this when I was a medic, is, chest percussions. So, I worked in the newborn nursery, and we'd have babies who were kind of like gurgly. And so, and that would sometimes drop their oxygen levels. So, I was taught to like cup my hands like this, and you go like this on the chest and the back, especially, and go up and down the back, and, hold the baby like this and do it. Or if I'm holding my own child, I'd hold them like this and do it like that. And that is really helpful for breaking that up inside. And then I saw a reel, I think, where somebody, their baby had RSV, and they took the massage gun into the hospital, and it was really helpful for releasing all of that mucus and helping their baby's O2 sat. I mean, they were measuring it. So, like you could use something like that, like a massage percussion gun. Of course, use discretion if it's a little kid, But that would work on adults too. So, and let's see. Okay, these cough drops are amazing. I know the price about makes you fall out of your seat, but I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that it's one of like the top 20 products in Young Living. They're like $1 a cough drop, but they are amazing. And I was like, I can't believe, I was talking to somebody and I said, I can't believe these cough drops are on there. And they're like, well, once you bought them, you bought them again, didn't you? And I was like, oh yeah, I got 2 bags of it right there in my nightstand. Like they're amazing. And I gave them to Evie when she was 11 months old. It didn't give her a whole cough drop. Okay. But you can melt that in a cup of hot water and like divide it up between your kids. Or I would just, before I thought of that idea, I would just break it like break it in my teeth and just give her little pieces of it. And she loved it because she felt like a big kid. And it was really helpful for her sore throat, for coughing, all of that stuff. So there's also a really good DIY version of cough drops if you want to make your own. I understand like $1 cough drop is a lot, but they are really good. And they're full of essential oils, which are costly. So I get it. I get the price, but I also get why some people can't afford $1 cough drop. So, there is a DIY recipe. I put it in my Facebook group. If you guys want in my Facebook group and you're not in there, just ask me and I'm happy to add you to that. It's the even ester one. And so I just put that in the last few weeks. So just look up DIY and it should pop up. And then we have the Thieves Chest Rub. Has a really great product and it lasts forever. I still have my first thing of it and I think I got it when it was brand new. So it was like 2 years ago. And I have a big family. So that tells you how far that goes. But there's also a DIY version. So you can just do like, seriously, take some coconut oil and put as much Thieves in there as you want. I'd say for like a little kid, if you do, let's say if you use one of those little glass jars that are like this, I think it's maybe a 1/4 cup or a 1/2 cup of coconut oil. I would put like 20 drops of Thieves in there, 20 drops of lemon, and maybe like 10 drops of Raven. I'm just using the starter bundle oils, but definitely Thieves, definitely lemon, and then you can choose up whatever eucalyptus blend or eucalyptus that you have. Sniffles is a great one for kids too. And so I take the Sniffles and I put a drop on my finger and I just will put it here on my kid's nose and here, and that really opens it up. Maybe sometimes here in the sinuses, depending on where their sickness is kind of like residing in their body. But Sniffles smells so good. It's one of my favorites as far as those respiratory blends go. And it's diluted for little ones already. So you don't have to worry about it like burning them or anything like that. Okay, and then sore throats. So Thieves mouthwash is amazing for sore throats. It has colloidal silver in it, so that is good for getting rid of viruses and things too. But it helps with pain and it helps with if I feel like I'm getting something in my throat, I do the Thieves mouthwash, or I'll even spray it in my throat and then I'll swallow it. So we have a little spray with the Thieves mouthwash. Just for those kind of circumstances. And then, okay, so RSV. RSV is like, it's really scary. It's going around, but there are things that you can do for it. So a lot of the things I've already talked about are effective for helping babies with the RSV. A lot of these things with other virus too, when we work on When we work on supporting the body early on in those viruses, it leads to much quicker and better recovery, I think. So RSV, no matter what your child has, still treat it like it is this, because it's not going to hurt to put lemon or Raven or RC or Thieves or Peace and Calming on them, or using a diffuser. It's going to be good for them. So Peace and Calming is great for coughs. I don't know if you guys know that. This is just like one of those random things that's not meant for coughs, but it is calming. And so it helps with coughs. My sister told me that trick years ago, but it has tangerine. And so it kind of makes sense. Tangerine is like a relaxant. So it kind of like helps everything relax. So you can like rub it on their chest and their back or their feet before they go to bed. And they might very well have a way better night sleeping than coughing all night, like maybe they did the night before and used the diffuser. So ears, we're going to move on to ears, because a lot of times respiratory leads to ears, right? So if your child had a cold and they all of a sudden, like, you think they're pretty much getting better and they're just kind of like mucusy still, or they're like coughing up kind of thick phlegm, you know to watch. If they start getting a fever, watch their ears. Okay, just think right away ears, unless they're going downhill and like their lips are turning blue or they're having a hard time breathing. That's probably like pneumonia. Okay, I shouldn't laugh at that, but like, mother's intuition is good. God gave us good intuition with our children, so so we can keep them well. Listen to your intuitions. So if they start running a fever at the tail end of a cold and you think they were getting better, but it doesn't seem respiratory, just treat them like they have an ear infection. So I have done this so many times. I've saved so many trips to the hospital or the urgent care or whatever, the doctor's office. My kids have not been one exception. One exception was strep throat with my teenager. Okay. So, but my other children have not been to an acute appointment since 2008, I think, because I do these things like natural methods. They haven't been on antibiotics. I don't think they give you that for, maybe they do for strep. I think she was on that for strep. But the rest of us didn't get it. So it really saves you time and money to do this stuff. It saves you a trip out when you really don't need to be going out and coughing on people. And it saves your kids pain. It saves them time away from school or activities or church or whatever. And it also saves their gut, because antibiotics over and over, it can change a child's personality. And it can affect them for the rest of their life. So I really regret getting my older kids, all the meds for their ear infections. I've saved so much by doing it this way with my younger group of kids. But so if you have a baby and you're not sure, a lot of times they like kind of go like that, or they're trying to like rub their head, or they're just super fussy and their fever's coming back, and sometimes they'll rub it, sometimes it's red in their ear. So just pay really close attention to that. And then get out your lemon oil, because lemon breaks up mucus, and put it around their ears and down their throat where their tubes are. And there's some other oils here too. I want to look at my notes real quick to make sure I don't forget something that I use. Yeah, just do it quickly. Don't wait until you're like, well, I think it's an ear infection. It's not going to hurt to put some lemon and tea tree or purification or Melrose around their ear. So any blend with tea tree is really good for ear infections also. And sometimes I will take like a bowl with a little bit of coconut oil, and I'll just put those oils in there, because you're gonna have to do it again. It's not like a one and done thing usually, because just that virus or bacteria, whatever it is gonna want to come back. So you can mix up like a tablespoon to use for the next few days and just keep at it, so that it doesn't keep coming back, because it will try. So I will take like a little bit of coconut oil in a bowl and add the oils to it. You can do frankincense and lavender in here too. It's really helpful, and those also help with pain. So mix up a little bit of that frank, lavender, lemon, and tea tree, or a tea tree blend like Purification or Melrose. Okay, you can do one and it could be effective, but that's what I do. I go all out with it, okay, because I don't want to take them in. I don't want them to suffer more, because ear infections hurt. I got one when I was like 24 or something. It was up there with childbirth. It is so painful. So you take the oil and the essential oils, put a cotton ball in there. Don't get it like so that it's dripping. It doesn't need to be saturated, but squeeze it out so it's not dripping, because you don't want to put oils like in their ear. But you put it around it with a cotton ball, and then you can set the cotton ball right inside the ear, like right there, and then put a warm washcloth on there, like a warm wet washcloth, like a compress. And so Peter he's the one who would always get the ear infections when he was at the tail end of a sickness like this. And so as he got older and I started doing this, he was like, it's popping and fizzing. So it was breaking it up from the outside. The oils were actually getting in there and he could hear them working, that's crazy. And I don't know why I'm surprised that they work, but those kind of stories are just amazing. And then he could feel it draining and all of that. So it's really, really helpful. Okay. And then eyes, like pink eye is kind of like the ears. You don't want to put oils in the eye, obviously. I do lavender and lemon and frankincense and put it around like the bone of the eye socket, put it around there. With the coconut oil, and put a warm washcloth over that if your child will let you, or do it while they're sleeping. And it's amazing how much that can help. That's good for styes too. Kids get styes a lot too, I think. Some kids are prone to it more than others. But anyways, so the pink eye, just be careful you don't like contaminate everybody. It's so contagious. And then okay. The stomach bug. Okay. This is the grossest, the most dreaded in my home, the stomach bug. And, but the first thing I do is make everybody drink grape juice. The undiluted kind, the not from concentrate, expensive red grape juice, like the purple stuff. There's something about the tannins in there. It's not going to help the person that already threw up. I'm sorry, but it will help the rest of you to not get sick. And so I just bought some and I keep it in my linen closet with that little wellness kit that I made. And so they know, like, this is the grape juice that we're going to be in big trouble if we drink this one. So because I can't, like, it's hard to find, but I got it at Natural Grocers, or like they didn't have it at Target, and they don't have it at Sam's or Costco. Trader Joe's, I think, might have it, or they have like blueberry and cranberry, which is good for UTIs. But everybody has to drink that. And give them the juice, give everybody the juice. Okay, drink it yourself. And then what I also do is inner defense. So if somebody throws up at my house, I take an inner defense. And it saved me every time since I started taking inner defense, or since I started Young Living. Okay, every time. Because inner defense it's like gel capsule full of thieves oil and oregano and thyme is going to kill anything that should not be in your body. And I don't take that every day. I just take it when I'm fighting something, or I know something's in my house, or somebody barfed. So that stuff is amazing. If you take it more than a couple times, you really, really need to follow it up with a probiotic. Life 9 is amazing from Young Living. So I forget the Life 9 a lot, honestly, because you're supposed to take it at night and I forget. And you're supposed to keep it in the fridge. And I try to stay out of the fridge right before I'm going to bed. The oil for a stomach issue is Digize. Most of us know that, but Digize, put it on the belly and use the same method as a fever. Every 15 minutes, stick it in their belly button if you can. You can make a dropper with that, and like peppermint. Also, orange and copaiba are really good for stomach viruses. So you can add that too, but Digize is great. Yeah, just do that as much as you can every 15 minutes, and hopefully they'll recover a little bit faster, and you'll ease some of their discomfort. I say 15 minutes. I'm not like setting my timer every 15 minutes and waking up and doing it. I'm doing it like as I'm going about my day and working around sick kids laying on the floor. I'll just come in and put more Digize on their belly. And then baths again. We already went over that, but a bath is really helpful for kids when they feel sick like that. And then once they can take water, like sips of water, and they're keeping it down, then you can add the vitality drops like we talked about with the fevers. Because they really need to replenish their bodies. And once they can keep that down, then move on to broth. If you guys want my bone broth recipe and my method for making that, let me know. Just like shoot me a message or put it in the chat and let me know that you want it. And if I don't have your email, put your email in there so I can send it to you. But it's really good. I'll like bake a chicken every once in a while and then take the bones and make it into chicken stock or bone broth, whatever you want to call it. That's really, really nourishing. And it's also good for your skin too, like for keeping us looking as young as possible, because it's full of collagen, especially when you make it yourself. Like I was buying the boxes at Costco or Sam's, and it's thin. It's not like gelatinous. Like the broth I make is like, it's like Jello, and I have to add water to it. It's really good for your skin, your joints, all of that. Your hair, your nails. Okay. But it's also very, very healthy for the gut. And so broth is good. And then I add the noodles or some white rice. Brown rice is hard on the tummy, so I don't recommend that. And then like toast, bananas, applesauce, the Brat diet. So BRAT. That's how you can remember that if you didn't know that. And then replenishing their gut biome after a virus like this, or if they've had antibiotics. Mighty Pro, the kids probiotic, is really, really good. And it's just kind of like a pixie stick. It's in a powder form. So if your child is really young, I just do a little bit at a time. Well, when Evie was younger, I didn't give her the whole thing because it's a lot of powder in their mouth, and I felt like she could choke on that. So I would just like give her a little bit at a time. So that is really helpful. And then, okay. A maintenance plan. Somebody's outside my door saying Merry Christmas. But a maintenance plan for keeping a good immune system, keeping it strong, is Ningxia Red. Ningxia Red can go with any of these things I've talked about. It will help all of it. Sometimes my kids throw up Ningxia when they have a fever or they have a stomach bug. So I'm like, that is kind of pricey. I try not to give it to them when I think they might throw it up. But like towards the end, helping them feel better, or when I think we're starting to go downhill, then it's okay too, but not if they're throwing up. Plus it's like, it's it's concentrated juice. And so that's kind of makes you feel sick if it's on an empty stomach, which is probably why they throw it up. And consider switching if you are still using like Method soaps or Lysol or Mr. Clean, any of that kind of stuff. Just can really consider switching to Thieves products because so good for you. It's way cheaper to use Thieves cleaner than the other stuff. And it's really good for you and good for your kids and your pets, and it works well too. And it smells good. So anything with fragrance or harmful chemicals is going to impede the body's ability to fight as hard as it should, or as it should be able to, like how God made it. He didn't make our bodies to have to like, defend from all of these like endocrine disruptors and all of the pollutants that we have in our daily lives today. Eat foods that make you feel good. Fruits and veggies. If you don't feel good eating bread, don't eat as much bread because it's probably not good for you. If you like you feel better when you eat more protein, then eat more protein. Like that's our way of knowing what our body needs, is what we feel good eating most of the time. Because sometimes I feel really good eating a donut, but it's probably not good for me. But maybe I just need some extra fat that day. I don't know. Drink water, lots of good water. And I always put oils in my water. It's really good for you. It has antioxidants in like lemon and tangerine and citrus fresh. Those are my favorites to put in my water. And grapefruit's also amazing. It's very high in antioxidants and D-limonene, which if you look that up is really good for you. Just look it up and you'll know what I'm talking about. Stay away from soda and sugary drinks like that. And then Super C chewables is something my kids take every day. If they're getting sick or we have somebody in the house who is sick, or we've been around a lot of people, or we have a trip coming up or a new baby in the family, they take extra Super C chewables every day. They take 2. Sometimes they make them take 2 in the morning and 2 in the night. It's on my monthly order every month because we go through it a lot. And then Super D. And then I don't know if you saw my social media this morning, but I talked about vitamin D and how it's really important to get the early morning sunrise light into your eyeballs. And that's really good for you. So just sunlight, and then the super vitamin D, we take that also. And Mighty Pro, the kids probiotic, is very, very helpful for like so much depends on our gut, our immune system, our moods, our hormones. So much of that is like, it really matters what is going on in your digestive tract. So keeping a healthy digestion helps the rest of your body to stay well. And so taking the probiotic is really good. I also give my kids a lot of kefir. I buy that from like Natural Grocers or whatever store I can find that in. And kefir is really, really good for your belly. I used to make my own, but I haven't started back up with that lately. And the kids like the ones from the store better anyway, because it tastes like peaches or strawberries or whatever. And I'm not going to over brew it or whatever, over ferment it, and then it gets weird. So I wasted a lot of milk trying to make my own kefir that the kids never liked. And then Thieves Tea, we talked about that. Thieves Tea is so good. I need to have some now because my throat is scratchy from talking too much. And diffuse. Oh my gosh, diffusing is so good. Diffusing and Ningxia Red is going to prevent so much. I mean, we're all going to get sick. We live in a fallen world, but those 2 are like my favorite wellness tips. Ningxia, diffusing. Thieves oil in a diffuser, they have proven that it killed 99.6% of airborne pathogens. 99.6%. of what was in the air was killed by thieves in the diffuser. That is so simple. Like, why are we not doing that every day and telling everybody about it? Okay, so it's really, really helpful, and it smells good. So, and you make your house smell good without it like hurting anybody. Makes us well. So that is it for, I'm sorry I took a whole hour, but, and I know it's a lot of stuff. So I am going to, well, I don't know all who is on here, but if you don't have a Young Living account, talk to the person who invited you to this class and see if they can set you up, because all of you here are in my, you're all on my team. So whoever invited you, let them know that you might be interested. Most of the oils that I talked about tonight are in one bundle, and it is highly discounted. It's worth like $450, and you can get 12 oils and a really nice diffuser and a couple packets of Ningxia Red to try, and like hand sanitizer and a thieves spray. I didn't even talk about the cleaners I use when my kids are sick, but thieves spray is like my Lysol now. I just spray it, one little pump in a room, and it fills up the whole room. It is amazing. And you can also use it on surfaces like Lysol. And then the thieves wipes, those are a necessity if you have a stomach thing going on, because the concentration of cinnamon oil in those is so high, but that's not in the starter bundle, the thieves wipes, but that is an amazing product, and I'm so glad I had it last week. So all of that is $165. Today and tomorrow are the last days we have a sale going on, so you can get that for 15% off. And then I'm entering everybody, if you get your account started back up if you're inactive, or if you start on loyalty rewards, or if you are on loyalty rewards, which I know a bunch of you are, you're already entered to win. You probably don't know this, but I have the it's over there. I don't really want to go get it, but my essential oils wellness kit that I compiled all of this stuff that we talked about into one. Look, I'm going to grab it. Hold on. I put it all together, and I just, because I got tired of going from room to room and leaving thieves over here and the spray over there and everything. So I just put it all together, and I got this on sale from Life and Science Publishers, which sadly went out of business. And so I got this on their clearance sale. But I just have everything in here. So I have stuff. There's a thermometer. I don't ever use a thermometer. But it's there if anybody ever asks me for a thermometer. I know where it's at. It's in the little wellness kit now. I have cough drops in here and CBD muscle rub, because this is good for aches and pains, growing pains, great stuff like that. I have some chest rub in another little container that looks like that one. These are my dropper bottles that I use for the lemon and peppermint, or the Digize and peppermint for the bellies. I also made a raindrop one. So raindrop is like next level virus busting. That is not, there's not enough time to talk about the raindrop. This is the thief spray I was talking about. This does come in the starter bundles. And I have an owie spray in here. So if they have like a scrape or something, that's really nice. This has the mouthwash in it. It's a little spray bottle. So you can just like spray it in the back of the throat, and you can actually swallow the thieves mouthwash. I'm not supposed to say that, but it's not going to hurt you if you do. You don't have to. You can spit it out, but that's helpful. And then my thieves roll on. And yeah, but the cool thing is I bought 2 of these. And so I have another one. I have one for me, and I have one for somebody to give away, with the bottles in it that you can fill yourself. So anybody who gets started tonight or tomorrow, or gets on their loyalty orders tonight or tomorrow, or is already doing loyalty orders, because hello, like that is worth celebrating every month. So you're entered to win this. And then I have this in here too, but this isn't going to come in the package. Sorry, that this is in it. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off the recording, and then we can do a Q&A. Okay.